Mga training gods and goddesses na laging on-cam, on energy, and minsan on the verge of burnout from the perspective of a legit trainer. In this episode, we will discuss about the life of a BPO trainer in the BPO industry. Welcome to another episode of BPO Real Talk, ang tambayan ng mga kwento sa loob ng BPO industry. Real stories, real struggles, and real life. Let's welcome our special guest, a certified trainer, culture builder, and commander in the classroom for the past several years. Let's welcome one of the most popular trainer in social media today, Jasmine Hermosa, or simply Mama Jazz. Welcome to BPO Real Talk, Mama Jazz.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be, of course, sitting beside you today, and of course for having me tonight. So yes, hi everyone. So I'm here, and finally we're gonna be, talking about a lot of things about training.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Mama, just for gracing us with your presence today.
Of course.
Right. So first of all, Mama Just, can you tell us more about yourself, about your experience prior to training, or how you transitioned to training as a trainer?
Okay, so of course, my name is Jasmine Hermosa. I live in the city of Biñan, in province of Laguna. So hello sa mga Biñanenses and Lagueños. And I have two kids. I have two beautiful boys. And I have also a partner who's also a trainer, a trainer apprentice. And I actually started on a corporate world, to be exact. I work in a hotel way back a few years ago. And then I got pregnant. I had to stop working in Makati. So I had to go back in Laguna. And then after that, that's the time that I decided to, just apply to the nearest call center that we have in Santa Rosa. And of course, it was just for fun, it was not totally a plan. And then that's the exact time where I had to print out my CV or resume. And then I pass it, I got passed. It's a one-day processing, right? In a BPO center.
Yes, one day. Hanggang from morning to
night.
Right?
Yes, maghihintay ka talaga.
Mabilis lang.
Yes, and I tried my luck. And then, fortunately, I got in. And then that's where it started. So, of course, I started as an agent, as an applicant. And then I worked as an agent for like a year and a half. And then after a year and a half, the managers or the management saw the potential in me leading a team. I got promoted as a subject matter expert, or a SME. And then after a year, I tried my luck again. I applied for a coach post. And thank God, of course, I got promoted as a coach. So before I work in training, I've been a coach in production.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So maganda exposure.
Yes. And then I work in production for like a year and a half too. And then that's the time that there's an opening in training. And then my manager transferred me to training department. That time I was really so scared pa. No, kasi before I got promoted as a coach, ang una ko talagang position na gusto is trainer. And then I failed.
Okay.
I failed.
Oh.
I didn't pass the interview and stuff, and the demo teach, right? So okay. And then sabi ko na lang, sige, I'm just gonna try my luck in production. Then may nag-open a QA. I tried it again. I failed again. Sabi ko, my God, para sa akin ba talaga to?
Training and quality.
Training and quality, yeah, hindi pa rin. And then, the moment that I was already a coach, doon ako nilipat ng manager ko in training. And then that's the time where I started my journey as a trainer.
Okay. So your leader or your leaders saw the potential in you.
Yes.
Okay. From coach When you say coach, what were you coaching? Communication coach ba to? Product coach?
You're gonna be handling a whole team in production.
So parang TL?
Yes, TL.
Parang TL ka
yes.
na. Okay.
Yes.
And I think you have the potential of becoming a great and, effective team leader. Yung personality mo pa lang diba? So bakit hindi mo na lang tinuloy yung TL? Why were you interested in training?
Maybe it's because the passion has always been inside of me. Like, before I hated teaching, I'm not into teaching kasi alam mo yun, parang inside the classroom, parang it's gonna be a daily routine that you're gonna do. But then again, nung coach ako, lagi ko tinatanong sarili ko, ano ba? Paano ba nakakapasa itong mga to? Diba? May ganon.
So, nainis ka.
Yes!
Nainis ka sa quality ng training.
Parang dumaan ako sa point na merong mga ini-endorse sa akin na...
Alam mo, totoo yan.
Totoo yan.
Totoo yan.
Na parang may ini-endorse sa akin na, paano ba nakapasa to? Diba? Tapos ikaw yung maghihirap sa production na, hindi ba ito nasala? Di ba ganon?
May ganon. Totoo naman yan eh.
And then, the time na nandun ako sa training, doon ko naintindihan lahat. That's where mas natanggap ko, mas in-embrace ko yung posisyon ng being trainer, and mas napaintindi ko sa sarili ko na ito yung gusto ko.
Okay. So, yung inis mo sa training before, what were you learning when you handled a class, your first class? Parang gano'n. Ano yung na-realize mo na, kaya pala may mga nakakalusot kasi ganito yung nangyayari, or what was it felt like for you?
It was totally different. I mean, kung ako, aggressive ako sa production, sa training, wala eh. Parang, you have to be flexible. You have to be versatile. Alam mo yung parang, hindi dahil sa awa, but of course, nakasalalay sa yung employment ng tao. Right? Kasi, you're the ones gonna establish those people. Sa'yo magsisimula lahat eh. You're gonna build the behavior, personalities and stuff, learnings and stuff. So, parang mas naging mabigat para sa akin yung posisyon ng trainer na mas ginusto ko siya. Yun yung naging learning sa akin na pag na-challenge ako, ibig sabihin, may matututunan ako. Kasi pag mas naging madali para sa akin to, parang wala. It's just gonna be the same routine na gagawin ko just like I used to do before. So sa akin, yung naging learnings ko is how to get to know your people more. Yun talaga.
Kahit nasa training ka pala.
Kahit nasa training talaga.
Sa tingin mo, as a trainer, what's your biggest role in the BPO industry?
What's my biggest role? Siguro for me, in my perspective as a trainer, kasi we're always on the impression that trainer is just, that person always teach, diba? Discussion, the traditional way of teaching. Pero kasi I have my own way of teaching. I have my own way how to be a trainer. Yun yung difference ko talaga. Kasi I always carry my motherly heart with me. Na parang pagkaroon...
Alam mo, halata naman eh. Halata.
Talaga. Kasi from the previous classes that I had, I never had an escalation. I never been escalated. Something that I can really brag about. It's because kahit mismatch yung behavior nila, kahit sabihin natin, iba-iba itong tao na yan, iba-iba yung personality nila. Kasi ikaw yung trainer eh. It's gonna be your class, your rules. Right? So ikaw masusunod. So wala silang ibang gagawin kundi magkaroon ng unity talaga. And sabi ko nga, sa klase ko, you have to have a respect and discipline. Pag wala kayo niyan, you're not for my class. Laging gano'n.
Totoo naman. And then, nakailang classes ka na in your role as a trainer today?
There's a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's gonna be around 10 classes.
10,
yes, 10 classes.
Alright. And then, do you feel like, as a trainer, stressful siya na job?
For me, stressful. I would say not. If I'm gonna scale it like 1 to 10, it's gonna be 8. 8.
What makes it stressful?
What makes it stressful? It's about maybe pag nandun ka na sa part na deliberation.
Yung last week
Yes.
ng class.
Where you guys were gonna talk about, the performance and stuff, where you should have the list of all the graduates. Diba? Nandiyan na yung mag-fall out.
Magbabagsak ka
Andiyan na yung
Oh my
magbabagsak.
God.
Dun talaga ako mahina. I still can remember that time na nagkaroon ako ng agent na 67 years old.
A senior.
67 or 62, something around senior na. And then, siya lang yung ahente ko na nagpasok ng pen and paper kasi lahat ng discussion ko gusto niya nakasulat and stuff. You can see the eagerness na matutos talaga siya. And up until the very end of our nesting period, he tried so much. He tried his very best talaga para masabing worth it siya i-save, worth it siya talaga ma-endorse. Pero, still, sabi nga, numbers can't lie, right? And kahit anong mangyari talaga, we just really have to follow the metrics, the guidelines and stuff, right? So, yun. So, dun talaga bumabagsak yung puso ko pag nakikita kong parang kina-question ko rin yung sarili ko bilang trainer. Did I really did my part na ba? Parang na-exhaust ko na ba yung pagiging trainer ko? May kulang pa ba? Parang may help pa ba ako na hindi na ibigay sa kanya? That's where I doubt myself. Yun yung doon ako nasa-stress.
Dun sa training na yun, anong nangyari sa kanya after? Na-reprofile siya, ganyan?
No. I tried. Pero kasi hindi kami nagre-reprofile na
nabagsak sa
training, yes. Kumbaga, he had to redo everything. Pero sabi ko naman sa kanya, if kailangan niya ng, other job, may mga kilala naman ako sa other companies. Referral pa.
Nirefer mo siya.
Na-refer naman.
Okay. Oh, very good naman. At least you did your part there.
And napaka-positive na tao. Si Daddy June. Daddy June, if you're watching, I believe you're gonna be watching this. I love you so much. You know that. Napakahirap ng part na yon na you get to see that people na fall out, na hindi mo nabigyan ng trabaho because of course, the performance. But still, life goes on. No, binigyan ko naman siya ng motivation after that. And good thing, na-motivate naman ng Daddy June noon, yung agent ko na yun. So, we're good.
So, speaking of yung mga sad moments na yun, have you ever cried as a trainer? Or ano yung pinaka-masakit na nangyari sa'yo bilang trainer?
Oh yeah, a lot. A lot of times. Because there are things that really makes me cry. First is, of course, kahit anong sabihin sa akin na, don't get attached. Diba? You always have to have boundaries. Sa personality na meron ako po, yes, I really can't. Lalo na as time goes by, kasi syempre sa unang phase ng training, they will call you trainer, they will call you coach. Pero as time that you get comfortable with each other, doon na papasok si Ma. That's why I've been Mother's Mamadas.
Okay, so actually, I was about to ask you that. So, trainer, so yung trainees mo, yung nagbigay sa'yo ng name
yes,
na Mama. Mama or Mama?
Yung iba, they call me Mama. Pag mataas ang score, ang mataas ang NPS. They call me, Mama, I got a promoter today. Ganyan. Pero pag lang may disat sila, Ma. So, doon pa lang sa tone ng boses, malalaman mo na kung they are crying for help or proud sila sa nangyari sa kanila. Yes, of course. Ganun. Okay. Alright. What's your biggest challenge naman as a trainer? Biggest challenge? I believe it's still gonna be the last part of training where I had to fight for their performance. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko na deliberation part where I have to get the full list of those folks who's gonna graduate. So, pinakamahirap sa akin yun, it's because yung pressure nandun eh. Yung pressure na I have to push them harder para ibigay yung performance na kailangan to reach the goal or to meet the performance. And lahat kami, kahit nararamdaman nila yung pressure and yung stress. It's a good pressure naman, hindi siya it's a bad pressure. So, yun yung pinaka-challenge sa akin. And, syempre, of course, yung fallout. Yung hindi makakapasa si agent. Yun talaga. Meron ka na bang pinaglaban na agent?
Like, kunyari, I wonder kasi, di ba, I have experiences with deliberations na rin. And sometimes, yung mga trainer, kahit naka-red na, di ba, RYG, ganyan, di ba, kahit naka-red na, yung mga trainers, ilalaban. Sasabihin, coachable, ganyan.
Markable.
Yung sa nesting, ganyan, markable, ganyan. So, ikaw ba, may pinaglaban ka na ba? Na agent, na bagsak nga sa score, pero nakitaan mo talaga ng potential. And then, eventually, naging successful naman siya.
Yes. Yes. Just recently. Just last month.
Interesting yon.
Oh, super. Nilaban ko talaga, no? Kasi ako yung nagbantay sa agent na yun. I know na MHN siya. Most Help Needed Agent. And then, nakita ko yung progress niya. Talagang tinrabaho ko kung paano coaching, action plan ang gagawin ko for her to improve. And as time goes by, kasi iba-iba tayo ng learners eh. Diba? Hindi lahat yan can easily pick up what I say or pag tinuro ko to, alam niya na kagad yan. Diba? Kaya sa training, parte yan ng GTKY is malalaman mo yung learning style nila. Right? So, nag-coach kami, mayat-mayang coaching, spot coaching, and whatever it is, strategic planning ang ginawa namin for that agent. And nakita naman namin as week goes by, nag-i-improve siya. But then again, since yung deliberation has to be done a week before their graduation, hindi na talaga umabot sa agent. Hindi na talaga. Okay. So, I tried my best. Dumating pa ako sa point na I had to ask some of the managers if they can accept the number of that agent, but still, hindi na kinaya talaga.
Tapos ngayon, nasa production siya? Or
hindi siya na-endorse talaga sa production. But, hindi ko alam, but most of the agents na nagpo-fall out, na kahit hindi na-endorse, alam mo yun, ang gaan pa rin ng loob nila na it's okay, parang being in your class is already something that we can treasure. Kaya, doon ako bumabaw talaga.
I think, it's because if I am the agent, I feel like you did everything for me naman. Diba? Yung usually ang trainers naman ganun, diba? Tututukan ka, and I know a lot of trainers na tututukan ka nila, and first week mo pa lang, ma-assess ka na nila. Ganun naman talaga, i-assess ka na nila, ganyan. Tapos I heard you said GTKY. For the benefit of the viewers outside of the BPO, what's GTKY?
It's get to know you, right? So, hindi pwedeng lahat ng mga trainers or applicants or na mag-undergo ng training is walang GTKY. Kasi yan ang way namin to get to know more of you or to get to know our trainees. Kasi hindi pwedeng, I'm gonna be asking something that you guys should do without knowing how would you want to be coached, diba? Anong learning style mo, anong personality type mo, right? So, kailangan may GTKY talaga siya, proper GTKY.
So, it involves personality type and learning style. Diba? Kasi pinaka-ano yun eh. Kasi you might be teaching the class na auditory, yung mga tao.
Kinesthetic,
pero
visual.
Kinesthetic, di ba? Pero the way you're teaching them, puro kasulat, ganyan, baka hindi siya maging effect.
True.
So, that's really important no, in training. I'm not sure if other industries have that. Pero for BPO, I know it's
it's a procedure.
Yes. Diba? Right. So despite all the pressure as a trainer, what's the most fulfilling part of being a trainer?
Fulfilling part, just like what I always say in every classes that I handle. Rank for me is just a number. I mean, yung marank ako as top 1 trainer, that's not my goal eh. Ang goal ko is to get them indoors, and pag na-endorse sila sa production, yung makita kong nagta-top agent sila, that's my success. That's what I always tell them. Your success is always my success. And truly naman, no, something that I always brag about, lahat ng na-endorse ko sa production talagang performer.
Top performer
can get really good incentives naman talaga. Kaya, alam mo yun, pag may bagong class ako, someone will just gonna knock at the door. Coach, may coffee ka sa akin na. Magpapadala na lang bigla ng mga kung ano-ano.
Rewarding
Rewarding talaga, sobra.
So speaking of top performers, meron ka na bang na-train na TL na ngayon or OM na ngayon? And ano yung feeling?
I would say that they're not yet TLs or OMs, but they're already running for mentors or SMEs or associate coach. And I feel proud, actually, lalo na kung naging downlines ko sila before. Kasi meron din ako naging agent ko na parang applying for TL na ngayon, and then the moment that I passed by sa kanya, bigla niya akong hinawakan, sabi niya, Coach, nag-apply ako ng TL, dami ko natutunan sa'yo before. Sabi ko, apply ko lahat yun. So something na, alam mo yun, kahit years na yung dumaan, naalala pa rin nila yung mga tinuro mo sa kanila.
Yeah. I think, may sinasabi nga sila, di ba, na kung gusto mong humaba yung buhay mo, you have to teach.
Yes.
Kasi yung ibibigay mong turo, yun yung magpapahaba ng legacy mo.
Totoo.
Okay. Siyempre, nakalimutan ko yung question. Charot. Kwento mo naman, what's your most unforgettable, or do you have an unforgettable batch ng training? Like the funny, the bad, or maybe the good?
Wow. Well, I would say so far, I have 2 good batches that I handled. One is I had the most emotional batch where everyone cried at the graduation. Actually, 2 batches yon. First is yung batch na gumawa ng spoken poetry for me.
Aww,
sobrang sweet.
At effort yun, ha?
Super. Talagang heartfelt yung mga words and statements na ginawa. Kaya parang graduation, pero parang dinudurog ako. Alam mo yun, parang that's the batch where I really felt that they treated me as their mom. Na parang, Coach, thank you, nilagaan mo kami. Coach, thank you, hindi mo kami binitawan. Ganon. And that's where everyone gets emotional, no? And then the second batch is, I would say, the funny and the bad batch. It's because they're funny kasi naging magaan lang yung training phase namin together. Not only they gave me the best performance, wala akong stress na natanggap sa kanila kasi very consistent yung pagbibigay nila sa akin ng magandang performance. So, less call-outs pa. So, alam mo, naging masarap yung buhay ko sa batch na yon. And then, they're bad. It's because, my God, strong personalities talaga. Grabe, halo-halo. Kaya, I enjoyed a lot. Actually, lahat naman ng batch na nahawakan ko, I enjoyed everyone. And, hindi naman lahat magbibigay ng effort, di ba, sa mga graduation. But those batches are really, really something that's very remarkable.
I think maganda yung experience nyo kasi bilang trainers kasi each class is unique, di ba? Tapos, I'm pretty sure meron pa rin kayong mga natutunan per class. Dealing with people, yung mga learning style.
Yeah.
Kaya I love what you do, actually. Gusto ko rin maging trainer before. Kaya lang, sabi ko, parang hindi ko kaya yung yung may influence mo yung mga tao dun sa turo. Pero, I think you're doing a great job. Let's talk about mental health. Kasi, syempre, training kayo, hindi kayo pwedeng, alam mo yung naantok-antokin, ganyan, hindi mo pwedeng ipakita ng pagod ka, ganyan. So, how do you deal with your mental health despite all the things that's going on in trade?
Well, talking about mental health, that is something that's very deep, and heavy. But for us trainers, shout out sa mga trainers natin dyan, my friends, JOD fam, of course. We always have that cleansing. We call it cleansing.
Okay.
Yung cleansing na yan is ginagawa namin every time that there's a ramp season, every time that we get stressed. Gusto namin outing kami, labas kami, trainers lang. Walang managers, walang kahit na sinong boss, walang kahit na sinong agent and stuff. Just the trainers. No? Lalabas kami, get away, and then punta kami sa malalayo, yan, cleansing. Kasi parang breather namin yun. And doon kami nakakapag-catch up, kwentuhan. And siguro that is something that really saves our sanity as well as trainers. Kasi sa loob ng classroom, kulang naman yun eh. Kulang na si stress dyan eh. Then after your shift, what you gonna do? At the end of shift, Honda kami isa-isa. Diba, wala na kami time para mag-catch up. Uy, tara breakfast tayo. Uy, tara kain tayo. Wala na. Diba? Because we have our own responsibilities na rin naman eh. Right? So yun, pag sinabi namin cleansing, nagkayaan kami as long as may sahod. Go. Something that really saves our mental health.
Ano yung cleansing nyo? Different activities or kain, video, ganyan?
Yeah, different. We have outings, we have beach trips, we have, yung mga kainan, yung mga buffet. Yan, mahilig kami.
Samgyup.
Samgyup, my God. Kaya nagpuputukan ng aming mga high blood. Yes.
Pero paras lang din naman pala tayo. No? Pag na-stress ka na, tatakbuhan mo food talaga.
Food talaga.
Diba? So speaking of protecting your mental health, I'm pretty sure, nabanggit mo kasi kanina, may mga trainees ka talaga na medyo mabilis mag-pick up.
Yeah.
Mabagal, di ba? Matuto or maka-catch up, ganyan. Have you ever dealt with trainees na toxic? And what makes them toxic?
Oh, yeah.
Madami.
I had so much. May mga trainees ka na bida-bida, for sure.
Jollibee.
Yes, Jollibee. May mga pabibo, yung mga magsisinungaling pa. Oo, meron. May mga trainees na magtatanong ka, di ba? So, why you chose BPO? Sabihin sa'yo, well, we have a family business and stuff, yung mga ganyan-ganyan. Like, okay, alright. And then, alam mo, as time goes by, you really get to know the real personality. And then, we also have toxic na ayaw sumunod sa'yo, di ba? Dahil tenured na ako, dahil sabihin natin 10 to 15 years na experience ko sa BPO.
Or mas magaling ako sa'yo.
Magaling ako sa'yo, yan. Ganyan. So, tas yung may house rules ka, tas ayaw sumunod, lalo na yung mga nagdadala ng mga cellphones inside, yung mga ayaw sumunod sa mga patakaran mo sa loob ng classroom. Those are the toxic folks na ang hirap nilang pasunodin. It's because ang taas ng ego nila. As the tenured ones, you know.
So, sino ang mas madaling turuan?
Okay.
Yung mga tenured ba na galing ng ibang BPO or yung mga sample scenario, bagong graduate? Ay, tatlong scenario. So, tenured na galing BPO, bagong graduate, or yung mga adapters, yung mga galing ng ibang industry, like sabihin mo na galing hotel. Sinong pinakamadali at sinong pinakamahirap turuan?
Pinakamadali is the newbies.
Newbies talaga. Kasi
fresh. Everything is fresh. Although madali din naman si adapters, no? Madali din silang turuan kasi they already have an idea how to do it,
yeah.
Diba? Pero mas nagiging madali sa akin si newbie kasi everything is still fresh for them.
Absorb lang.
Yes. Wala silang comparison na, ganito kami dito, ganito kami noon dito. Diba? Wala silang ibang gagawin kundi sundin yung ikaw. Kasi you're the first hand eh. Right? And then, ang pinakamahirap naman is of course, tenured ones. Kasi syempre may pinaglalaban na yung mga yan. Diba?
Parigas na ulo.
Yes. Kaya, yan ang from scale, si tenured ang pinakamahirap.
So if you are talking to trainers today, right now, what advice would you give them?
Trainers already?
Yes.
Like trainers. Well, for my co-trainers out there who's listening and watching, one simple advice, of course, is walang susuko. Because if you all love what you guys are doing, nothing will stop you. You know, kung mahal mo at gusto mo yung ginagawa mo, tuloy-tuloy lang. Right? Gano'ng kahirap yan. Kasi, and if you can see like opportunities to step up, why not? Right? Kung gaano mo kagaling hawakan yung sabihin natin 10 to 15 or 10 to 25 headcounts, why not? If you can step up to be a training manager, then why not? You know, you always seek to have a better opportunities inside that company.
Yeah. What about those agents or quite in the agent, pero they wanna pursue their professional career as a trainer?
Whoa. Okay, so for those folks who's aspiring to be a trainer, again, lagi mong hahanapin kung gusto mo yung ginagawa mo. Kasi wag mong ipilit kung hindi mo talaga gusto. Kasi you're not gonna do good at mapapasa mo lang yun sa mga tao. And kailangan matibay yung loob mo pag nag-trainer ka. Right? And of course, kailangan masipag ka. Hindi pwede ditong petiks-petiks lang because there will be a lot of things that you're gonna do. And kailangan is kaya mong i-manage yung people skill mo, and of course, yung business needs. Lagi yan. Kailangan, na ma-manage mo yan. Hindi pwedeng lagi nakapanig sa mga tao mo. You have to know as well your boundaries as a trainer, and you have to know as well the needs of the business. So, ganun. Kailangan balance lang talaga.
So, sounds like Mama Jazz is Mama Jazz talaga.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today,
Mama Jazz. Thank you, Ms. Posh.
I'm really happy we had this conversation. I'm pretty sure lahat ng viewers naman natin, they've learned something new in your journey as from agent to becoming a trainer. Hopefully, we will have more trainers, diba? In the industry. Kasi I believe that training is really the starting point para maging successful yung mga agents natin. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Guys, if you love this episode, please click on subscribe, follow, and like on all of our social media accounts. And see you in our next episode. Again, my name is Posh. This is BPO Real Talk, ang tambayan ng tunay na kwento sa loob ng BPO industry.